Hi, and welcome to the video, The 4 Operations with Signed Fractions. In this video, we're going to talk about the addition and subtraction of problems that involve fractions. So let's look at the thought process where we're going through this operation. The first, called the do process, is number 1, decide to add or subtract. Remember, same signs, you add them up, and different signs, you subtract. Keep the sign of the larger number, then you'll be exact. The second step, equivalent. They must be, so find the LCD or a CD, which is the least common denominator or the common denominator. If you need help finding the least common denominator or least common multiple, please review our video over that. And step number 3, write the answer in simplest form, a simple fraction or mixed number. So let's look at the first problem. The first problem states 1/2 minus 1/3. Well, the first step in our thought process is to decide, to add or subtract. So we need to determine if our signs are the same, to add, or different, so we can subtract. So when we look at the first fraction, we see that we have 1/2. Is that a positive or a negative sign? Well, it has no sign, so the default is positive. The second fraction, when we look at, is a negative 1/3. Well, with that minus sign in front of it makes this 1/3 negative. So we have two different signs. We have a positive and a negative. So we're going to subtract. Now, the second part of our thought process is, are they equivalent? So let's look at our denominators. Our denominators on the first fraction is halves, and the second one, thirds. Well, those are two different sizes, so they are not the same size or not equivalent. So we need to find the LCD. Well, the LCD of 2 and 3 is 6. So I'll take my magical one or scale factor, and I'm going to change this 1/2 into a 6. So 2 times what makes 6? Well, 2 times 3. And what I do to the bottom, I also do to the top. Now, on the third, how can I make thirds into 6? Well, 3 times 2 is 6, and what I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So when I change this fraction, I'm going to multiply this product together. 1 times 3 is 3. And that's going to be over the denominator product, which is 6. I'll do the same thing over here. 1 times 2 is 2. And 3 times 2 is 6. And I'm going to subtract them. Now I have the same denominator because they are the same size. So when I look at my denominators, I see that I both have 6's. So if I have 3 6, and I take away 2 6, I'm left with 1 6. And I'm going to keep the sign of the larger number, and the larger number was a positive number. So this 1 6 over here is positive. Let's look at the second problem. The second problem states that negative 5/8 minus 6/12. Well, first, let's decide. Should we add or subtract? So when we look at the first fraction, it is a negative 5/8. And when we look at the second fraction, it's a negative 6/12. So they have the same sign. Therefore, we're going to add. Now, do we have a same denominators? Well, on this fraction, we have 8s, and on this fraction, we have 12s. Those are two different sizes. So we have to find the LCD. Well, our LCD in this case is going to be 24. So again, we're going to use our magical one or scale factor. I'm going to do it in green this time. And 8 times what makes 24? Well, 8 times 3. And what do I do to the bottom? I do to the, that's right, top. And I'm going to do the same, use the magical one on the second fraction. Because to change a fraction, I have to use a scale factor. So 12 times what makes 24? 12 times 2 makes 24. So what I do to the bottom, I do to the That's right, due to the top. So this fraction converts to 15 over 24. So we have 15 over 24. And don't forget that it was already negative. And this fraction, which is negative as well, converts to 12 over 24. Well, sometimes you might be tempted to subtract because you see a subtraction sign, but remember, we're adding because we have the same signs. So 15 plus 12, because I have 15 negative 24ths, and I have another 12 negative 24ths. So altogether, I have 27, negative 27 24ths. Now, our negative 27 24ths we can put into simple form. Negative 27, I'll write over here, over 24. 24 is my whole. The number of pieces, if I get 24, I get a whole number. So when I look at the top, this tells me how many pieces I have. I have 27 pieces. Well, I could take out 24 from that, and that's one whole. And that leaves me with 3 pieces out of 24. So we also see that we can still reduce this fraction. So we divide the top and the bottom by their common factor, which is 3. And 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 24 divided by 3 is 8. So our simplified answer is negative 1 and 1/8. Okay, let's look at some problems at the bottom. 3/10 plus 2/5. Well, again, we have to go through our thought process. First, we're going to decide, do we have different or same signs? This is a what sign? Correct. Positive. This is a what sign? Correct. Positive. Now, we're going to see if we have the same denominator. Well, at the first fraction, we have tenths, and the second fraction, we have fifths. Those are two different signs. So we have to use a what? A magical 1. So first we find our LCD, and our LCD is 10. Well, this fraction is already 10, so we don't have to do much there. But the second fraction is a 5 that we need to make into a 10. So 5 times what makes 10? Correct. 5 times 2. So what we do to the bottom, we do to the top. Now we get to change this fraction. This becomes 4 over 10. And we're adding it to the original 3/10. Now that we have the same denominators, or the same size pieces, we can count all the same size. So 3/10 plus 4/10 is 7/10. And this is already simplified, so this is our correct answer. Let's move on to the last problem. The last problem states that 4/7 plus 8/9. Well, when we look at this problem, we're trying to see if we should add or subtract. This sign is positive, and this sign is positive. So, with the same signs, we do what? That's correct. Add them up. Now, our LCD in this case will be 63. So, we're going to use our magical 1 to change this 4/7 into 63rds. And we're going to change this one as well. So, 7 times what makes 63? That's correct. 7 times 9. And what we do to the bottom, we do to the top. And 9 times 7 makes 63. And what we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So this turns into 36 over 63 plus 56 over 63. So now we have the same signs that we said we were going to add. So we're going to add up 36 63s plus 56 63s. And that makes 92 63s. Now, this is a improper fraction, so we need to reduce. So we're going to change it to a mixed number. Because remember, we have to write our answer in simple form, a simple fraction, or mixed number. So 63 goes into 92 one time, leaving us with 29. And that's over 63. So this is already simplified. There's no common factor between 29 and 63. So this is our answer in simple form. And that's the 4 operations with signed fractions covering addition and subtraction. Remember the do process: decide, equivalent, write.